some low 70s in those areas that struggle to see the sun even late this afternoon. 90s and 100s in our valleys. Paso Robles, the hot spot today with 104 degrees expected by this afternoon. These showers are going to be very hit or miss all day long today. Most of the thunderstorms, by the way, are going to happen in our mountain areas, so most of us will not actually run into the severe weather. We're expecting 74 in Santa Barbara at noon today. Similar conditions in Santa Maria, 80 by then in San Luis Obispo. Here's some areas that are going to see the fog and the clouds lingering into the early afternoon hours. Lompoc and Ventura going to top out right around 70 at the noon hour. We've got a flash flood watch through this evening. All of these areas shaded in green, which is basically our mountain areas of Ventura County, our mountains and deserts too for Southern California. Because of all of that moisture that's moving in from the Baja area, it tends to create quite a bit of instability, and that means the possibility of showers and thunderstorms and some brief heavy downpours for the areas shaded in green. Check on traffic this morning. We have an accident Highway 101 North at Fairview Avenue in the Goleta area. It is causing a big slowdown. Want to show you a live Caltrans picture of what's happening out there. You can see traffic at almost a standstill this morning, and we just learned there's an accident in the opposite direction now in that same area, so you can expect some slowing on this side of the freeway here over the next few minutes. You can see right where that marine layer is this morning. The Santa Barbara area actually seeing some dense fog in a few spots. A nice pocket of clearing near the Santa Barbara Ventura County line. Santa Maria actually seeing clear skies.
Yes, and it is a special weekend, Labor Day weekend. Good
That's
morning,
right.
Ryan.
We kind of forgot about that yesterday.
Yes, how could we forget?
You could tell where we'll be on Monday.
We're working.
So here's what we're dealing with. We've got that even stronger onshore flow out there this morning, and that means the clouds are going to stick around longer than they did yesterday, and this onshore flow is only going to strengthen. But we are expecting plenty of sun for the afternoon hours in most spots, but there will still be a few beach areas right near the sand that actually stay gray all day long today. But the big picture change here with this onshore flow is the cooler daytime highs, especially near the coast where some of us will only see highs in the 60s today. Live look outside this morning in Santa Barbara. Clear conditions out there. There's a little bit of fog and cloud cover along a few parts of the central coast, but overall lots of clearing. You're going to see the sunshine here in about a half an hour in most areas. It is going to be hot and humid the next few days. In fact, warmer and more humid than we saw yesterday as we head towards this afternoon. And when you add the heat and humidity, that creates some dangerous heat index values. So basically, it feels warmer than that actual air temperature when humidity levels are this high. And that also means the possibility of some mountain and desert thunderstorms late this afternoon, but becoming more and more likely as we head towards tomorrow and Saturday afternoons. And then a late weekend cool down by Sunday and into Monday of next week.
Labor Day weekend is the last official getaway of the summer. Ryan.
I know it. And the school started for some people, so it's kind of weird now. But yeah, 3-day weekend anyway.
Keeping an eye on some showers, even a few thunderstorms. They are well off to the east of us right now, but you know what? They are slowly moving towards the west coast, so things are changing for part of our holiday weekend. Basically, all that humid air that impacted us earlier this week, that's what's off to the east of us, but that's going to start shifting in our general direction later this afternoon and even into tomorrow. And that also means because of the heat and humidity that those showers and thunderstorms are going to start drifting back in our direction as well. They're going to stay over our mountain areas for the most part as we head towards those afternoon hours, so you may see some dark clouds towards the mountains and even hear a few rumbles of thunder. The further south you are, the more likely you are to see some of those showers and storms in the mountains, especially towards Ventura and even LA counties over the next couple of days. And because of all that, we have some flash flood watches out there for all the areas shaded in green here. Basically, we could get some brief heavy downpours, and with it being so dry out there, the ground has a really tough time absorbing all that water, and that's when we tend to get the flooding situations. So that's entirely possible really through this evening. Again, primarily we're talking about the areas shaded in green here, so that does include some of the mountain areas towards LA County for the next 12 hours or so. Here's a look at some temperatures. We've got a lot of 50s out there at the moment for northern areas down to the south, 63 in Santa Barbara, 66 degrees in Ventura. Just a little bit of patchy cloud cover for some beaches to the north of Point Conception right now, but that is all going to burn off very quickly today. We're expecting plenty of sunshine, and it is going to be warm and muggy once again today. Areas to the north are going to see warmer daytime highs than yesterday. Santa Maria 83, 89 in San Luis Obispo. The south coast of Santa Barbara County going to be a little bit cooler than we saw yesterday afternoon, but still warm, above average temperatures for the south coast. 80 in Goleta, 87 in Santa Barbara. Most of our valleys are going to see very similar daytime highs to yesterday. We're talking 90s and low 100s today. 102 in Paso Robles, 98 in San Ynez, and some triple-digit heat in places like Ojai and even Fillmore for the afternoon hours. Here is what it's looking like at our beaches. Water temperature 64 degrees to the south of Point Conception. High tide coming at about 8 o'clock this morning and then again at 6:30 tonight. Most of us seeing some swells out of the west at about 3 to 5 feet. And now to your 7-day forecast. We are in for a cool down, but it's going to stay humid through Sunday, so it's still going to feel uncomfortable towards those afternoon hours. And then we're in for a rebound in temperatures back into the 80s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in Santa Barbara. The Santa Maria area will cool down into the mid to lower 70s early next week, and then back into the mid to upper 70s by the middle of next week. And in the San Luis Obispo area, you're going to cool down into the upper 70s by Sunday, even mid 70s on Monday, and then the 80s return again on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Paso Robles hot, triple-digit heat today, upper 90s tomorrow, low 90s starting on Sunday, but then you're going to warm back up into the mid to upper 90s by the time next Wednesday and Thursday roll around. The robbery happened here at the Rabo Bank on the 2200 block of Bath Street in Santa Barbara when an armed man came through the door demanding cash. Check out the power meter on the side of this house. It's actually moving in reverse right now. That's because the homeowner isn't using much power, so the solar power being generated, much of it is going back to the power company, which does benefit this homeowner. The flames were quickly put out, but not before they came dangerously close to people living in an apartment just above. The price you see at the pump isn't necessarily the one you're actually going to pay. Gas stations are getting very creative with some of the deals they're offering in order to get you to choose them. Well, 6:53 is the time. This is a live shot of the Bay Bridge in the San Francisco area this morning. That bridge expected to open at 7 o'clock this morning. It was closed from some repairs from over the weekend. We understand the fire truck was responding to this incident when it actually ran into a sinkhole itself. If this bill doesn't pass and we end up with two separate primaries again, Santa Barbara County officials say they'll bill the state for their costs, a reimbursement that isn't guaranteed. In Santa Barbara County, Ryan Carmel, Key News.
This is ridiculous. I mean, Santa Barbara, there was over 30 people on our block alone, and you count all the blocks. Boom, look how much money they're making today. That's dirty. On Santa Barbara streets marked for street sweeping, we found dozens and dozens of cars with parking tickets on Labor Day. Drivers are outraged.
I have a ticket, and the holiday, I think that's not nice. Everybody, my neighbor, is very mad.
Parking enforcement officers say the Public Works Department recently changed the rules to include some holidays.
Remember, we're sweeping on holidays now.
Well, when did that come about? Was that in the news press?
Back in March.
And everything.
Well, it's a holiday, huh?
It's a holiday, isn't it? Federal? Then why are they working? They're getting paid time and a half for that one, aren't they?
The parking rule seems to have caught a lot of people off guard. Parking enforcement officers who didn't want to go on camera say usually in about an hour and a half, they give out 30 or so tickets. This time, 200 tickets.
I can hear the street sweeper come down, and my husband's uncle, he ran outside and he was like, what the heck? But they said that we can call and complain about it. The city's website does point out that street sweeping is not canceled on Labor Day. The street sweeping hotline does too.
It's just not right. And not to warn us. Put it in the paper, put it on TV. 4th of July, everybody parked, nobody got a ticket. And now Labor Day, the working man's holiday. Thanks a lot, City of Santa Barbara.
We tried to find out why the city changed the policy for some holidays, but the parking department office was closed for the holiday. We tried calling several public works officials, but nobody answered.
Were you surprised?
Yeah, really surprised. It's $48.
So it's not cheap, is it?
Yeah.
For the next holiday, you may want to keep the city's website and street sweeping hotline available. That information is on our website, KEYT.com. In Santa Barbara, Ryan Carmel, Key News.
Ready, one. Look up.
Rancho del Cielo in the San Ynez Mountains was the Reagans' home away from the White House. It's 680 acres of land with rolling hills, lots of horses, and even a lake, Lake Lucky. The address, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the same one as the White House. The entire ranch is surrounded by President Reagan's personal touches.
All these fences you're walking past were all built by my dad.
Ronald Reagan's oldest son was along for the tour. He says this ranch was a very important part of Reagan's presidency.
I don't think he ever would have been president of the United States had he not had a ranch to be able to go to, relax, and as he felt, closer to God.
The ranch is filled with memories from the Reagan presidency, like this Subaru and Jeep he used to drive all over the ranch. Some lucky hand-picked students joined us on the tour.
It's amazing. I mean, like it's just awesome being here. I mean, I never thought I would be able to go see a president's house. I mean, it's just being in a place where he lived. He worked here. He did press conferences here. He slept here. I mean, it's just amazing.
The Reagan family didn't want us to shoot any video inside the main home, but I can tell you after being inside, it's really nothing that extravagant. It's just about 1,600 square feet, a couple of bedrooms, and one of his sons says it really depicts the kind of person President Reagan was.
It's an adobe house that he built most of, and they're going to see that he built the fences and he built the house where he lived. He cut the firewood. Nobody did it for him. And so he never changed.
Many of the images we saw on the news when Ronald Reagan was in office came from here. We found this picture of the Queen of England visiting in the pouring rain, or the time Mikhail Gorbachev came to the ranch. He wore a Western hat backwards, but nobody had the heart to tell him. The Reagan family hopes this ranch allows visitors to understand the importance of democracy, freedom, and liberty, American values that topped Ronald Reagan's list.
I don't think you know Ronald Reagan until you've been to the ranch. He never stopped being humble.
Ryan Carmel, Key News.